Welcome, everyone. This is Pineleaf, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Sanswinda,
Hello.
Calabathian.
One silver and 50. Hello.
I would think that in a normal town that wouldn't be too bad, but that's another matter. And Arendis.
Hey, everybody.
Hello there.
Y'all should just let Arendis go ahead of me because
Hey, I did good. I didn't laugh this time. I'm working on it.
All right. Note to self: change order of Calabathian and Arendis.
No, it's fine.
Let's then head into what's in store this week, and not really all that much because our hoped for Bulwer build didn't quite happen because apparently there were some technical issues with the version control system.
no war pigs.
So
Anyway.
yeah,
Or pig pants.
we didn't have a chance to check out the work pigs or anything like that this last week. We would just have to wait another week before doing so. But we do, of course, have our usual LOTRO Beacon, issue 176, where it's glowy.
Yeah, I have no idea where this is. I was looking at it,
No,
I'm like, I have no idea where this is.
I know where that was. It's Kellendim, and I think it was during the festival. They had the little
with
paper
all the
lanterns.
floating lanterns.
Yeah, you could put some in there, and yeah, that was one of the Kellendim things that you could do. I think during the Midsummer Festival.
Midsummer, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why I have no idea where it is, because I didn't get to Kellendon for Midsummer.
I guess I completely forgot that there were floating lanterns in Kelledim during this.
Yeah, I tried to
Summer
swim out to
festival.
them to see what would happen, and you could just swim around them, and it was cool. But nothing actually changed if you swam over there. I mean, except your perspective of them got really up close. But
Up close and personal. Then let's into our community spotlights, where we have a lot of stuff that was mentioned that was this week because apparently they had a performance of Battle of Pelennor Fields on Crick Hollow. They had more information. Maybe they have information where you could listen to the performance afterwards, perhaps, in case you forgot about it.
I was like, are they actually going to act it out, or is this like a vote? I'm like, that's an awful lot of people. Who's going to be the orcs? I'm sitting here just kind of scratching my head. I've been thinking too much. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
It's fine. You just go into Filgashan, and you kill a lieutenant, and you get the orc disguise, and then you leave instance. Then you can be in the orc disguise for, I don't know, like 5 minutes or something like that.
Everybody takes turns being the the one orc on the field.
Yes. Unfortunately, they don't list anything about there being a video available, so I suppose that if you didn't make it today, you'll never see it.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be in next week's Beacon.
Ah, yeah, that's a possibility. The Big Boar Market takes place on Sunday on Belegear, and you click on the link for that. And if you're listening live, you can actually be able to catch that one. Then the Weatherstock course was last week, where they brought hundreds of players to Langeable, and LOTRO Stream last week was the biggest event of all, and you can click on the link to check out the archive of the event. Then for the Ken Hall, Ran Ruin Reborn is reaching out to all free peoples. We are a kinship on Arkenstone that locks our level at certain spots to experience the game at certain levels. Currently, it's at level 50 in Angmar. People can contact Silverseer or Aliriel in game for more information.
They're also alliterative. When Ruin Reborn is reaching out to all. How many R's?
Well, they needed it because we were going to be mentioning on the podcast on Talk Like a Pirate Day.
R.
And that is on Arkenstone, yes.
Nice.
And it takes place in Angmar.
If you would like to have a Ken Hall mention, you could email contact@sunnystonegames.com. Now for our weekly comment. What is your favorite NPC character name in LOTRO?
Horth. Horth. One of the stable masters in Angmar is Horth. Horth. And so I keep on wondering if that poor dude had a lisp and kind of didn't get to choose his occupation.
I don't know. There's
There
so
are a
many
lot
to
of-
pick from. There's Ranger.
Yes.
Not your named Rangers, just Rangers. Those are all the red shirt Rangers.
Yes.
Also, you have the ever popular townsperson.
Yes. Quite a common
You have-
name.
You have hungry hobbits and nosy hobbits. Surly Urich. Surly Uric's been my favorite lately because if you kill them while you're in Isengard, you get a speed boost.
And you can raise the morale of the place simultaneously. It works great.
Earlier we were laughing about Gnarl Stump the Int. So that's a good one.
Yes, I already determined that I was going to name my the next cat I get, probably a little girl. I was going to call her Gnarl Stump. That way I'd have Loki Guy and Gnarl Stump. And Gnarl Stump would be the most pleasant and cuddly of them.
Not if you're getting a girl cat.
Better than the boys. Look at what I have a goblin and I have a demon. I mean,
She can only go up from there.
yeah, I've already got the lunacy going. I mean, it's yeah. I'm only looking up from here. Cats all the way down.
Yes, so. I know. I was thinking of something more like actually named characters rather than those placeholder names.
Well, yes, of course you were.
Oh, well. I guess the first one. I guess you can guess which was the first one that came to my mind. So.
Pinleaf?
Netta Pinleaf?
Yeah, Netta Pineleaf. But let's see, is anyone... Let's then head into the fan site news then, where last week, apparently we slapped fish.
No, we used fish for slapping.
Well, apparently the beacon got it backwards then.
That happens on occasion.
Yeah.
Beacon, I'm horribly disappointed. Corbin, what are you doing?
They could have just been trying to find some additional clickbait for us.
Well, there's always that.
I see what you did there. Bait, fish,
Hey. Unintentional puns for the win.
Unintentional puns. Let's
Are
then
we
head...
sure they were unintentional?
That one was.
No.
Then let's head into our fan site. We're already in the fan site. Never mind. Lotro Stream is your first stop to find Lotro on Twitch this week. You can check out shows by French Girl Gaming, um, Eldaleth, and the Tolkien Professor. And also on Twitch, we had Agent Brigman returning. Beck Booba runs on Evernight, and Zoe the First leaves a dwarven footprint. And over on YouTube, Mad Matt joins friends, Daggerhand Gaming plays a minstrel, and Fwalen has thoughts on the latest news. Probably had his thoughts on the upcoming expansion would be my best guess on that. So let's check out our screenshot of the week where it looks like we have lots of chickens. The 9-9 Chicken Raid spearheaded by player Squirrel saw dozens of Evernight players turning into chickens at Sanson's farm to then attack unsuspecting gnats and toads.
What? Seriously?
A group of them posed for a picture by player Scartoth at the party tree before swimming along the Brandywine River and meeting their fate at the Giants of the Brandy Hills. Thank you, Squirrel, for sending in this week's screenshot. And you can see a YouTube video of the event by clicking on the link. Seriously, about the gnats and toads?
Yeah, I didn't realize you could actually, like, you're a level 1 chicken. Doesn't everything kill you? Can you really take on a gnat? Now I have to go plug in and be a chicken to find out if you actually can attack a gnat or a toad in chicken form. Thanks for that, guys.
I guess we'll have to find out on the. It could be like one of those Hogger raids that they do in World of Warcraft. It was where you take a level 1 character and then you head out to this, I think it's a level 6 elite or something like that. And people just create new level 1 characters just to go on these raids.
I mean, it
Crazy.
is possible. And they do have the YouTube video there, so they might have, how they went about it and how it actually happened in there too.
Yes, that is right. We'll see whether there was hyperbole or whether they were actually doing it.
Either way, I'm sad I missed this event. This would have been fun to watch.
And also, please note that world transfers from Bombadil have been extended to the end of the year because we passed the deadline. And of course, world transfers are currently closed, unfortunately. And that's it for the Beacon this week. So let's head into our store sales. And Terry, what's on sale this week?
Well, LOTRO Bonus Days brings you the Tale of Shipwrecked Mariner now through September 20th, which is Pirates. Also, Baggins' birthday is on through September 23rd, so if you haven't already done it, you should totally go do it. So much easier to do it now than it used to be because now all of your quest givers are up all of the time, so you can basically just pop back and forth and talk to all the people and be done. But those stories are so much fun. So if you've not done them before, I totally recommend you do them. Also, our free weekly coupon gets you a free dye black with coupon code Diet Black now through September 24th, and 20% off quest packs, 100% XP boosts, Metro coins, maximum morale, and power scrolls now through September 24th.
I see a
can't
red
imagine-
door and I want to dye it black.
I can't imagine why anybody would be buying quest packs because you should have gotten them free.
Yes.
Maybe people were a little bit late to it though, or just finding the game. And a sale would be really good.
Well, I think they chose this particular one because Frodo's birthday. So of course we're going to follow in Frodo's footsteps for the birthday event. At least that's
Yeah.
going to be my guess. Then let's head into our site news, where we have the latest chapter in A Berg's Tale, where apparently our hero is seeking some reptiles.
Yes, Morkendeer gets a little note from Gandalf the next morning, and finally, gets an indication of where he should be going. And afterwards, he realizes that um, he doesn't have a whole lot of money. He's going to need to get some money if he's going to be, actually trying to be a hero instead of just kind of stumbling into things as he has been. Which, if he needs money to get a horse and to get food and shelter, wherever he's going, at least at the very beginning, yeah, he's gonna have to either get in trouble with the law in Bree, which he's kind of the local hero right now, so that doesn't make any sense. Or he's gonna have to find a quick source of income that is not illegal. So he chooses to head down, to see what the task board has, and along the way, he comes across ye old time familiar posted bill. I heard that. And this posted bill, if anyone has ever been in Bree for half a second and looked at one, you know that this is the quest in the game, Tiny Turtles. And he figures, from the way that everything looks, I mean, it doesn't really tell you when you read it that, hey, this dude wants some turtles. It does, I think, mention the guy that needs help, though, and that it has something to do with food. And he's like, this sounds kind of easy. So he goes off to find Sig Mandrake and figure out what's going on so he can do this and maybe, make a quick, well, I'd say a quick buck, but, a quick little bit of cash. Because, hey, why not? He doesn't have to, like, stab anyone or, just, uh, for instance, help someone find their roast that has been stolen. So, um, yeah, he's kind of goes there, and the first thing that happens is awkward because he's wearing his mask, and people are not really used to people wearing masks, as they walk in. But
Wait, what's
finds out
unusual
about
about
the
wearing
turtle.
masks?
Yeah, yeah,
Seems perfectly normal to me. Huh.
yeah.
I don't know where
But
you're
being
from.
well, apparently someplace with a plague, because it's a plague type mask. But because he actually wears in game, one of his outfits is with, I think, the northern, crap, what's it called, northern, it's the one that looks like a bird. It's not the owl one, it's the other one, but it's got the feathers on the back. It's like with a hood. um so yeah, he wears that one. And as I was brainstorming all of this stuff with him, I realized that may not actually be a hood or a mask that he has at the moment. So at some point, he's actually going to get his little fancy mask with a bird on it, um, a raven, I guess. But for the moment, he's actually, kind of more or less going to have the plague mask type thing going, that aesthetic. So the Mandrake's just kind of like, so, are you okay? And, are you okay, sir? And then he's like, well, I assume you're sir, if you are. And dear, cannot let that slide. So let me just say, Morkendeer is like 6'5", 6'6". He's a huge guy. He's really tall. Um, and he's wearing this mask. So the first, I mean, he actually walked in and went, in this kind of deep voice, and then Mandrake comes back with, "If you are a guy, I'm so sorry if you're not." And Morkendeer's just kind of like, have you how many women have you seen this tall with this deep of a voice? I should be asking if you're all right. So they get on to the business of the day, and Morkendeer decides, it's easy money. I have to go south of here to a lake and go get some turtles. Sig Mandrake then kind of is like, but haha, good luck finding any because people have been coming to me all day for this. And it just kind of makes Morkendeer's competitive side flare up because he was just pretty much told, you're not going to be able to do this in so many words. And Morkendeer's like, bet, watch me. So off he goes without a horse to the south, to the lake. And along the way, he meets someone that may or may not show up again later, a hunter, and gets a couple of pointers because this hunter is almost as sassy as he is. It's great, almost, because he's being nice. He's not in a foul enough mood to be extremely sassy. But anyway, he gets what he's after finally, and in a very unusual way, starts coming back and meets the hunter again, who completely amused by his methods because apparently the one thing she didn't mention was the way turtles tend to get scared and go whoop inside their shells, and you can just pick them up. And Morkendeer's like, I really wish there had been a hunter around to have explained something like that. And anyway, he does manage to get back to Sig Mandrake, where he's paid for his stuff, and is not amused at the amount that he gets for having to basically go out there and find turtles and bring them back. And then Sig Mandrake is like, I've got another thing for you. You can ride out to Staddle, because remember, this is the this is the quest line. You can ride out to Staddle to so and so's place, and this person said that he would collect all these turtles for me, and he's keeping them in his uncle's shed. So bring them all back. And yeah, that's going to be the next chapter, is bringing them back, but maybe, because I mean, at this point, Morkendeer is just like, okay, how am I supposed to get out there and bring them all back if there's a whole bunch of them? I don't have a horse. He gets a gold piece to rent a horse to get out there, and he's really, really tempted at this point to cut and run with his 1 silver, 50 copper, and now his piece, and go find something else to do because this is nuts. I mean, he's like, okay, why is it always me? why do I get the crazy stuff?
Hey.
But
Well,
yeah,
I
it's
would
just
think that with 1 gold, you should be able to buy a horse. Now, I guess you're going by LOTRO game economy instead of Lord of the Rings game literary economy.
yeah,
Okay, because
because that 1 gold should probably buy a really nice horse. But Lotro game economy is like, here's 1 silver and 50 copper for all of your troubles, and there's more of that where there's where that
yeah, because I was
and
just
then go,
thinking.
okay,
A lot
here's
of those
gold
quests,
if you get a horse.
a lot of those quests up until that point only get you like 90 copper. So
Yeah.
1 silver and 50 is a lot.
Yeah, it's like, wow. But then you have to ride from here to the Forsaken Inn, and it's like, yeah, like, how much? That's not, yeah. So yes, I have yet to decide if he's actually going to continue this thing, since he's got a couple of days to kill, um, according to timeline, to make everything fit and make sense. He's got a couple days to kill, and I'm kind of tempted to have him go do something else and get into some trouble. But it's a good break from following the quest line because it allows me a little bit of time to actually, you know, have some fun and explore some different situations. Like, what happens if he does decide to go pick some pockets? Or, go to the mysterious compound in Bree and try to get in there and find some to take a message towards the beyond the Misties where his son is, stuff of that nature. Because like I said, he's got like a day or two to kill, where he has to make up some get some money. So I can't exactly have it be too easy. I mean,
Well,
really, I
there's
can't.
that.
He's yeah, he's been in marshes and swamps and everything for like most of the last few days at some form or fashion. He's kind of tired of being wet and gross, so he's probably going to stay away from the rest of anything marshy and lakey and
Well,
puddly or whatever. It's
hey,
you know,
maybe the
mhm.
hobbits could pay him in food so that he have something that he could eat for the next few days, and that way he could afford to buy a horse. Because I think he said that he could buy a horse if he didn't eat anything or something like that.
Yeah, if he basically didn't, decide he didn't want to eat or actually have a nice bed, he
Right.
might be able to manage to buy a horse. And but he kind of didn't want to sleep like in a barn where there's horse poo at somewhere beneath here, and 'cause you never can quite get it all,
Yeah.
and or in some bed full of lice in the straw, and 'cause it's a cheap place. And he's like, I kind of want to do something different, especially if I'm supposed to go on this heroic journey, because
All right.
yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, so that's coming up.
All right. Then that is this week's chapter of A Berg's Tale, where we have burglar meets hunter, I guess.
Yes, and the hunter is female. So yeah, I don't. I choose not to actually describe the character there as anything more than kind of curvy and dark haired, because in a scar that kind of on her face, because hello, she's been out doing stuff as a hunter. She probably has them. Um, yeah, I like to allow just enough room for people to kind of imprint their own ideas of what the NPCs, I guess you'd say, look like. Though, yeah, I really haven't given much thought to describing Morkendeer himself, other than the fact he's got kind of a hatchet nose and dark hair, and he's really tall. But yeah, and I think blue eyes. So yeah, I kind of want to give people enough room to insert their own ideas, but we'll be having some fun, because I've got a couple of icy in character days to kill before I can head off to Cerridon and have him say something about there was lightning according to Radagast, and that hasn't happened, because um it's like the morning after. Gandalf still hasn't actually left at this. When he wakes up, Gandalf is still there. He hasn't left for his journey just yet. He does after. And there can't be lightning on Weathertop until Gandalf reaches it. And so yeah, it's some money.
Craziness. And
Yeah.
then let's head to a new player question. What's the question this week?
Well, the question, I guess, is a little bit late as far as timing goes, but I still wanted to ask just in case. Um, or at least it's late in half of the sense. How can one participate in the tale of the shipwrecked mariner in the future and Baggins' birthday now? And I'm sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of that.
No, it's okay. Baggins.
Well, Baggins' birthday is auto granted, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Shipwrecked Mariner, you actually have to go find people though, and they're at the Brandywine Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just across it. You know where that little marsh is outside of the Brandywine area, where you can like go hunt slugs and stuff? But it's like on the other side of the bridge, on the Bree side.
Yeah, by Buckland.
They're out over there. Yeah, they're on a little hill over there. So you should be able to. You might be able to see them from the bridge. Depends on your graphic draw distance, I suppose.
Sounds good.
All right, anything else anyone has to recommend on this?
Just make sure when you're running down that river that you might, unless they've changed it. The first year I tried it, I was running down the river, and I think I was on level, and it's like everything wanted to attack me and kill me. So some of that stuff was a little bit above my level at the same time. So yeah, just bear that in mind that if you're on level or below for that area, that you might want to go in a pack.
Or stick to the water,
Well,
because
it goes up
the
in the
water.
east level 40 zones. So if you're coming from Breland, which is like late teens, yeah, it can be a little tricksy.
Yeah. I remember the first
But you
times
can
I
still.
did it that I had to be careful with the limraffin and the bugs were the big potential problem.
Yeah. But the river is safe in Lotro, which is awesome. So, if something's chasing you or something, go in the river and swim, because
Okay, the only river that's not safe is the Anduin, out near Galadriel's place, because if you swim too far out there, you die.
well, there are a couple that are like that. I mean, don't trust any water near Carn Doom. Um, for a kill is not nice. But no, the river there is pretty nice for this quest. So I've taken like level 5s out there, and you just hug the water. Um, and you come out of the water just to pick up things and go back into the middle of the river.
Unlike D&D or DDO, I'm sorry, where I think there's actually stuff in the will attack you.
Well, I don't think there aren't too many water specific mobs, but there are plenty of mobs that know how to swim.
One other thing that just came to mind, Cinder's pointed it out, is that like once you've bartered for the items, you can't do anything else with the things that you pick up. So don't pick up too many of them, because you'll be stuck with them forever. So
Yeah, but if you've got the barter
they
wallet,
do
then
go
you'll
in your
wind up in
barter
the barter
wallet, but
wallet.
they will just sit there forever. And there aren't any new cosmetics to barter for. So
You hear that? We need more new cosmetics for pirates.
and they need to be advertised, because I've stopped looking, because I was really hopeful the first 3 years, and then I stopped looking.
You know, after a while, you should be able just to buy your own ship.
That'd be cool.
It's like I have all the stuff to be a pirate captain or the first mate. Now I need the ship. What else am I going to do with all of this stuff I've collected and can't use?
Or,
How
they
much
could
for a
give
ship?
us housing items that look like ship props. So you could have
It's like,
a wheel or some sails to put out in the yard.
yeah, it's just like, how else am I supposed to use my remaining 50 kegs of cram? I'm going to buy a ship with it.
Yeah.
Baggin's birthday is really fun though, because I think that's the one where you get all the stories about
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah, those are fun.
Yes. So you could keep the Lonely Mountain company.
Yeah.
Let's head into our week in Lotro. And Terry Edwin, what were you up to?
Well, Axley and friends finished their delightful excursion into the depths of Orthanc, and then they helped free some rangers after everything went boom. Those are really loud booms when you escape out of. When you say goodbye to Saruman's hospitality, that explosion is really loud. I mean, loud movies are loud anyway, but that one's particularly loud. It's like, yeah, yank the headphones off so you can not go deaf. Then we helped free some of the rangers, many of whom just said ranger, um, and a couple of them didn't make it, which was very sad. Then we said goodbye and moved on because we're story focused and we made it to level 75 and are still not on war seas. Much to Sans Window's frustration because
70 levels ago would have been perfect.
we're focusing on the epic story. Really, really, really tightly focused on the epic story so that we get war seeds when we get them in the epic, and it's we're still a little ways away from that. So fun. But in the middle of
I've
this,
learned why I haven't done that before. Anyway, continue.
we were doing something, and I said, "Oh, I should eat some food," and I hear Sans go, "Yeah, I've got this," and I don't remember what it was, but it was like a level 30 piece of food that she had in her food, and I'm like, "What are you doing eating that?" Because I know specifically that other champion did a crafting pass at level 60 something for this group, so she had better food in her bags that she could have eaten, and she just chose not to.
I did have better foods, but none that sounded better.
So
RPing it?
other champion, yeah, other champion was going to do some more crafting, but it turns out that the level 75 food is all rep gated. And he has none of those recipes because he hasn't done the rep because he's been stuck in the kitchen. So, fortunately, I do have a cooking farming alt because, like, the crafting that I pursue in general is cooking farming. So, and Sarissa is up through her west. She's actually up to Westamnet is where I stopped doing crafting with her. But so she had all of the Westfold stuff, and she got the replicated recipes already because when she was going through all of those areas, she was like completionisting them and getting all of the reps. So she had all of the rep recipes, and so Sarissa's the one who actually did the crafting pass. So now we have level 75 food for that group. And then I was like, I forgot to do coffee. Except Pine Trap is a hunter, so we don't really need coffee. But I might do some for Axley and Bofalt anyway, just on those occasions where we can't
Yay!
do stuff with our pocket hunter. And speaking of pocket hunters, Galabrelith and Celeborn continue their exploration of Dunland. They're slightly behind now, Axley and friends. Technically, they're at the same spot in the epic, but because I did actually make it to what's his face's camp,
Grim.
Grimbold's camp.
Mhm.
We did actually make to Grimbold's camp, but we went back and we're doing the stuff out of Fourth Brond and exploring the Eisendale, which is very, very pretty. And it's lots of fun to run around in when you're way over leveled and don't actually have to fight your way through all of the things. And yeah, that was my week. Calabathian, how about you?
Well, speaking of Celeborn, he faced down a Falcon clan leader who shall remain nameless because, um, you guys know the one.
Yes.
Okay. Also, in the academy, we finished all the High King's Crossing quests and plundered sporadically along the river nearby. That was kind of fun, rolling for everything. It's like we roll, and then I'd take 2 steps, have to roll again because someone else had gotten another waterlogged crate. And later on, after the academy, I took my character to complete some quests that I hadn't been able to finish with the academy group. There was just 1 or 2. And then I went back to the Glassblowers camp to do the same because I had missed a few by being late that they had already accomplished and finished. So I finished those out. And now, if only I could backtrack to the Great Barrow because I believe I missed going with everyone to do some of those instances. And I'll have to find some time. But yeah, I missed that evening for various reasons. And that was the evening the academy ran through and did, I think, some of the instances in the Great Barrow. Not the one with Sambrog, that we all do originally, but I think the rest of them. But I missed that one, so because then we had moved on and we couldn't. So yeah, now if only I could backtrack and do this. So how about you, Arendis? How was your week?
Sorry, my mouse just freaked out on me and I couldn't do push to talk. Hello. This week I worked mostly on Stand Guard rep. I opened the Stand Guard Explorer deed by accident by walking into one of the buildings and in Stand Guard.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay, well, this should be an easy, deed to do, and you get a cool title of the trespasser. Yeah, turns out that two of the buildings are rep gated, and so or at least that's how I understand it. So you have to go and boost your rep, and my rep at that point, I believe, was neutral or something like that. So I've been running around on landscape doing all the landscape quests that I can get my hands on in order to boost the rep. So that was most of this week. I should probably get an XP disabler at some point because I'm about 10 levels above where I left off with the epic. Completely on accident. Didn't mean to do that. But it's getting beyond problematic at this point. Also, in the midst of working on those deeds, I ran across Gnarl Stump the Int on landscape in the Brownlands for the first time. Was not expecting an int and think I may have audibly gasped because I just wasn't expecting an int in the Brownlands. So that was pretty fun, and the quest lines um, that surround him are pretty fun. So recommend trying it if you haven't. Sans, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I went Nazgul hunting with Maven and Natesh, and we saved a bunch of books in the school afterwards, at Tamardane, I believe. And it was pretty cool because I don't think I've ever managed to save all the books. And then I fish slapped my way out of Isengard. I give it a 0 of 5 rating for comfort. Their advertising brochures lied. But it has a 5 of 5 for evil atmosphere. And I now look like a little ranger, so that's pretty cool. My little dwarf. Nobody would ever tell the difference. But I noticed the ranger outfit does not have pants. I think maybe this is why rangers are so free with giving away their pants. Anyway.
I
And
want Aragorn's pants. Continue. I'm sorry.
and I got my port to Tinadir at the end of the field trip, so my hunter is ready to keep going. So that was my week. What was your week, Pineleaf?
I'll begin with my honor warden, who pretty much gained the title of Ping Pong Pine Leaf because I was defending the town of Brockbridge, and I was doing the instance where what happens is you get pinged over to one gate, then you got ponged over to the other gate, then ping over to the first gate. Ping. Now, of course, they don't actually ping and pong you there. You just have to figure out which direction the next attack is going. So I'm constantly ping pong back and forth so that I can make sure that none of the gates have mobs that are left alone with the group, because of course the idea there is to avoid losing too many guards and not to lose the main NPC. And especially since when you consider that some of those mobs that you're fighting against are orcs, and we all know that that NPC cannot be harmed, can only be killed by an orc. So if an orc gets by, who knows, he might be one shot by the orc, because the Dunlendings can't touch him, but those orcs, one of them is going to have his number someday. So I was, yes, assiduously protecting the two gates by pinging and ponging all over the place. Then, during the field trip, we swam over the Brandywine several times. So I was ping and pong, I guess, across the Brandywine then. Then on Friday Night Fights, we ran Storm on Methodress, Strike against Denninglor, and then finally Trouble in Tuckborough. And that's it for my week. And in news beyond LOTRO, we have another tribute by Darren Loremaster, who has one for Gandalf the White to the tune of, was it Superhero or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So Gandalf the White to the tune of Superhero. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would like to support us without joining Patreon, you could contact Drac at LOTROplayers.com. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@LotraPlayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, Lotra Players at Lotra Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Sandwinda at Sandwinda, Terryadwin at Terryadwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, and Calabathian at Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 3 shows. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Players News. And XP Quest is on at an irregular schedule, but if you'd like to catch them, then follow them at XP Quest on Twitter to find out when the show goes live. Just remember, though, that XP Quest is not Pineleaf friendly. And you can join us for our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to socialize responsibly.